Some abject retards on the left right now are claiming, oh, this is cancel culture. You guys are not supposed to be engaging in that type of stuff. I thought you hated it. Yeah, I don't fucking think so. These were words that this idiot said, and it led to her withdrawing herself from being a cabinet nominee. And like I said when we first talked about this, it's just fucking words. I don't really care, but you know what, if you're going to back out on your own because pressure from Republican senators, 2, and 1 Democrat, Joe Manchin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was another Democrat who was also going to vote against her, or at least not be willing to just pass her through the Senate. But be careful what you wish for when you get to this kind of stuff, because as much as her mean tweets in the past are less than flattering in current light, her proposed replacement is no fucking walk in the park. But before we get to that, yeah, let's, I guess, throw the last scoop of dirt on this grave. Neera Tanden withdraws as cabinet nominee after facing opposition. Let's see what the screeching harpies at The Guardian have to say about this. Joe Biden's pick to head the Office of Management and Budget, Neera Tanden, has withdrawn her nomination after she faced opposition from key Democratic and Republican senators. Wow, how does that change from just the headline to the first line of the article itself? Weird. Over her past controversial tweets, her withdrawal marks the president's first failure as he seeks Senate confirmation for his cabinet nominees. Well, to be fair, he's got through a bunch of other people that I would consider failures just because they are either woefully unqualified or corrupt actors themselves. She falls into the prior, much less the latter. I don't know much of her background, but I know that she hates anybody who doesn't adhere to her ideologically. And if she's going to be pulling the purse strings, you kind of want somebody who's a little bit fair and balanced, don't you think? I've accepted Neera Tanden's request to withdraw her name from the nomination of Director of the Office of Management and Budget, Biden said in a statement. I have the utmost respect for her record of accomplishment, not that he could remember or cite any specific instances, her experience, and her counsel. She was a nice lady, and I think she used Part Plus. And I look forward to having her serve in a role in my administration. You know, and I can just appoint her to. She got nice toes. She will bring valuable perspective and insight to our work, somebody typed out for Biden. Tanden's confirmation had faced increasingly steep odds. Republican senators who opposed her nomination cited tweets attacking members of both parties prior to her nomination. Why would you want her there then? Last week, Joe Manchin, the first one that they're going to mention by name, a conservative Democrat senator. Really? How about just somebody who's in the center and happens to have a D after their name and doesn't scream from the rooftops how great the Green New Deal is? Is that what qualifies as a conservative Democrat? Whatever, it's from The Guardian. What else do you expect? Announced he would oppose her nomination, also citing her tweets, then left Tanden short of the majority of votes needed from the Senate floor and in the committees involved. Manchin, a key moderate swing vote in the Senate, said last month her overly partisan statements will have a toxic and detrimental impact on her important working relationship between members of Congress and the next director of the Office of Management and Budget. Susan Collins, really? That's the Republican you're going to cite? The Republican senator from Maine? Yes. How about the Democratic Republican senator of Maine, if we're going to go ahead and add qualifiers to people's political affiliations? Meanwhile, cited Biden's own standard of conduct in opposing Tanden, declaring in her statement her past actions have demonstrated exactly the kind of animosity that President Biden has pledged to transcend. If anybody, you believe me, if anybody in my presence is mean to anybody else, I'm going to fire them unless they're trying to have an affair with a member of the press corps, in which case I'll let him resign in shame, much like Tanden. So you see, I'm very ideologically consistent. Now let me say the N-word to several leaders around the world. Hold on, I'll be right back. Tanden was an unexpected choice to run Biden's budget team because she's woefully unqualified. She is a longtime ally of Hillary Clinton, oh boy, and often vocally criticized both Republicans and Democrats, especially supporters of Bernie Sanders. So she is an establishment type who hates Republicans and socialists. I can half get on her side with this one. The only other Republican that they cite in this as well is square-headed rhino Lisa Murkowski, who, don't worry about her opposing any Biden appointees because she'll be out in 2022. So because they don't point out that she called Bernie Sanders supporters crazies, which, if that's the qualifier that we're going on, you probably shouldn't have confirmed John McCain even when he had a terminal brain tumor. And yeah, just your standard orange man bad shit. So realistically, I don't care what she says. She's woefully unqualified. The only thing that she is politically well connected, and based on the cabinet picks so far that have been confirmed, that's all it takes to be a part of Biden's administration. So Tanden's withdrawal leaves the Biden administration without a clear replacement. The apparent frontrunner is Shalanda Young, a former staff director of the House Appropriations Committee who has been actively pushed by members of the Congressional Black Caucus. And that's who we're going to highlight because she's terrible. She is absolutely terrible. And no, I'm not talking about her gum to tooth ratio. That right there would even make Terrell Suggs wince. But she has some really warped ideas. Like this, Biden's pick for deputy budget director says taxpayer-funded abortions necessary for racial justice. So perhaps she's trying to push the white ethno-state. I don't know where she's coming from. President Joe Biden's top pick for deputy budget director, Shalanda Young. Can't believe we're going to have somebody with the name Shalanda. Can you imagine having to formally address deputy budget director Shalanda? Should come with a Good Times theme after it. Claimed access to abortion is considered a matter of economic and racial justice. Okay. My opinions on abortions aside, this is just flat out stupid. In written answers for her nomination, I hope somebody actually tears her apart for this one when her hearings, if she is indeed the front-runner, ever come to fruition. When asked about the Hyde Amendment, she prohibits taxpayer-funded abortion. Which prohibits taxpayer-funded abortions, except in some cases. Young expressed hesitation at keeping the policy due to its effect on women of color, most affected. I'd imagine that's probably her go-to response for many things. And why do I think this is twisted? Well, we got the Washington Examiner to just lay it out for us. 79% of Planned Parenthood abortion facilities are located within walking distance of neighborhoods that have proportionately higher populations of Black or Latina women. An analysis of census tract data clearly documents that this kingpin of the abortion industry targets women of color. Interesting. Selling them the illusion that they must choose between career advancement and the lives of their babies. Any doubt about this skewed impact on women of color would be dispelled if Planned Parenthood would publish data on the proportion of abortion clients who are minorities. Planned Parenthood pointedly declines to release this data. I wonder why. Since Roe v. Wade legalized abortion in 1973, abortion has killed an estimated 20 million Black babies, more than the entire Black population of 1960. So it's a problem of racial equality because not enough Black babies are killed. I don't know what you're trying to go here with, Shalanda. Back to this. The president has spoken in favor of Congress ending the Hyde Amendment as part of a commitment to providing comprehensive health care for all women. It's not. It's legalized murder. Further, eliminating the Hyde Amendment is a matter of economic and racial justice because it most significantly impacts Medicaid recipients. Because what? They're too stupid to get proper prophylactics? They're too stupid to employ tactics and procedures that were good for the Black community, like abstinence and maybe waiting to fuck until you're married. Maybe a little bit of personal responsibility is a little bit too much for you to ask. Racist. Who are low income and more likely to be women of color. Cite your source. Both the Senate Security Committee 7-6 and Budget Committee 14-8 approved Young's nomination, but some Republicans who previously considered supporting her nomination voted against her. This is one where our country is so deeply divided on abortion. I'll just lay mine out because we're going to have to say abortion about 3 or 4 more times. For me, it would be about 6 weeks, but I would negotiate to the first trimester, and it only needs to be under very specific circumstances, okay? It should be the last resort. It shouldn't be if your local pharmacy ran out of the Plan B that you've been raiding every other weekend, where we are able to come together and decide at a minimum that it's not to tell people with a deep view based on their conscience on this, that they have to pay taxpayer funds for abortion. Republican Senator Rob Portman said after he voted no to passing Young to passing along Young's nomination. Pro-life groups spoke out against Young's stance on the Hyde Amendment, criticizing her for ignoring the strong majority of Americans, including millions of Democrats and independents, who oppose forcing taxpayers to fund abortion on demand. Yeah, exactly. Okay? If it's still going to be out there, let's probably just, if we can have a little bit of a conversation on this, let's get rid of third trimester abortions, because at that point it is just flat out murder. The child can survive outside of the womb. Okay, the technology exists. That right there is murder. But if we can go ahead and negotiate that down, I still don't want to have to force any taxpayers to have to fund your Planned Parenthood punch card. Shalonda Young's radical support for abortion on demand ignores the devastating toll of abortion on black communities, an abortion rate about 4 times higher than that of their white counterparts. This isn't justice, it is profound injustice, said SBA List President Marjorie Dannenfelser. The fact is, the Hyde Amendment saves 60,000 lives every year. So yeah, it's not really out of form for another Biden pick to have a wild, radical opinion on things. This one is just specifically terrible because she's going to be one of the people on the council who control the budget and the funding of certain things. And we see the trajectory of Biden's executive orders, the policies that he's putting in place. So free abortions is probably not too much of a stretch at this point. Should be discouraged at every possible avenue. It should be saved as a weapon of last resort, and you should not be incentivizing it, nor should you be trying to pull in race, especially when you don't know the fucking numbers, you bloody idiot. With that said, we had a whole host of real downer topics today, so hopefully something good happens overnight so I can dispense some white pills tomorrow, because these morning after pills kind of suck after a while. With that said, guys, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.